Hey, yo. It's been a minute since I recorded. I recorded last night. I recorded some blob decks and highlights and stuff like that. I might redo that one. But I really wanted to kind of talk about something, man. And, try to get this like off of my mind and everything. I I know that my posts have been really discouraging in the sense I've been getting discouraged in regards to this game, and then this question happened to pop up from one of my subscribers on this channel, and I kind of want to. It kind of tied into what I recorded last night, but I wanted to re-record this and add the actual question at hand. And this is from my last post. And sorry to kind of not really like kind of trauma dump because of some of the shit that I was going through. And a friend recently passed away. And it's a lot of things outside have been kind of affecting my mental with this game and just real life shit happening. So I really wanted to address that before we get into the video. But I'm gonna try to be better, you know what I'm saying, but I still want to be able to rant and share my thoughts on the state of this game. But this question perfectly aligned with the state of the game, and I'll try to give my best opinion on this game. I'm not the smartest dude when it comes to strategies and whatnot when it comes to this game, but I definitely want to try to do something a little bit better. So I'll try to be in the realm of positivity, but I ain't never really been a positive ass nigga like that. So like some things suck, some things are dope, but the 21st is the OTA, and maybe some of these changes that we talk about on here will happen. But also the 21st is the Steam's version of Tekken 8 demo, and I'm gonna be trying to play some Tekken 8 and seeing how that game runs, as I've always been a Tekken fan, a fighting game person, well before I play card games. I've always played card games and play fighting games competitively, mainly more fighting games competitively, especially Tekken. Tekken's like my game, but I like to play other games like Street Fighter and stuff like that casually, even though I know certain terminology when it comes to fighting games like that. So, but I've been playing Tekken competitively for over 20 years, and I'm kind of worried that I'm not going to get my character. I want my character Ganryu, but if the rumors are true, I might get my secondary character that I've been rocking with for a long time, and I'm hoping to get Roger, the Kangaroo. I'm one of the few Roger players out there, so I always like to play weird characters like that. So I'm definitely waiting for Roger. If he does pop up in Tekken 8, and I'll probably cry because it's been way too long since I played Roger, and I absolutely love that character. So both two of my favorite characters. Hopefully Ganryu will make it, and Roger will make the roster for Tekken 8. But getting that out of the way, I really wanted to talk about this question, so I'll pop it up on the screen somewhere. And this is from Jacob. I'm not gonna say the whole name because I'll butcher that shit. From Jacob. He asked, how would you address the balance issues? And do you think a 30 plus bomb blob with no setup is healthy for the game? I was wondering, with Null you have to destroy stuff all game. With Hulk you have to float mana. With Infinite you have to skip an entire turn. And Blob is just a free win on a lane. I was gonna say on a lane. As for my thoughts, and also, do we have to kill Professor X to deal with lockdown? So, like I stated before, I was playing with a little bit of Blob. I was actually able to get Blob, and I did an auto build Blob deck that I ran with in Proving Grounds just to kind of test them out. And I think I'll try to do a video on that and Blob and my thoughts on him. But so far, Blob is really fucking insane. it's pretty wild to be able to get that much power on the board with him, and it's a little scary because if you still have Giganto, if you still have, you know, Death or any of the big powered cards in your deck, Red Skull in your deck, he's essentially absorbs all of that and ends up being like a 38 power in one lane that you can protect with either Invisible Woman or armor and stuff like that, but it can also be teched against because of like the abundance of Shadow Kings and people using Shang-Chi more. Despite what everybody's saying that I'm seeing Shang-Chi less now, I've been getting pummeled by Shang-Chi's, and I've been using Shadow King a little bit more and some other types of builds and stuff like that. So Shang-Chi is still in abundance despite what a lot of other popular content creators try to say. He's out there. So let's get that fucking shit out of the way. Be wary of Shang-Chi and Shadow Kings. They're prevalent right now. And there's a lot more. I think there's a lot more counters to using them. I finally got Werewolf by Night. I was able to buy it from the shop, and I've been doing things with like Shadow King. I don't have a Nihilist, but even then I replaced a Nihilist with Valkyrie. So but I also have Beast to get rid of, you know, any voids or anything like that. But I've been using Valkyrie a little bit more to change the game up a little bit and seeing how that works. It's pretty fun. Maybe I'll do a cover on that if you don't have a Nihilist. But it seems like a Nihilist is mad important in this meta that we're going through, and it's a weird meta. It's always like changing, but I felt like some of the times it hasn't been changing for the good, and it's just more power, more broke shit, and then you want to be able to do the broke shit and you can't because shit's expensive. You know, 6k tokens is not easy to come by, and these bundles are also insanely ridiculously expensive for cards and variants that you may not even play with, especially with the Kingpin bundle. But Blob is insane. It's absolutely insane, especially if Magic is out there where you're able to, if you still have a little bit more power in your hand for a Taskmaster to copy Blob and everything like that. And this is the weekend. This is on a Saturday and it's in the morning time, so we're gonna see a lot more Blobs being played on the ladder if you haven't successfully gotten into Infinite, or if you're in the 80s and 90s. Like, please be wary that you're going to be playing a lot of Blobs this season, for sure, to climb. It's playing with him and playing against him. It's annoying to play against because of Thanos being able to draw cards, and drawing cards is one of the most important aspects of this game, is being able to draw, and then having one cost cards that are able to draw up to 2 cards. Nico's able to destroy a card and gain you a card draw. It just makes decks overpowered, where some other decks that kind of suck in that aspect. So it's all about luck. It's all about knowing the deck and trying to navigate it and pilot the deck. But Blob is just insane. It can overpower Infinauts and She-Hulks and stuff like that, and high Evo decks. So but it also can be teched against, but you just have it's one of those things about the card game that you have to have the card in order to be able to swing if you can, and that's pretty important to have and go through. So do you really want to keep running tech cards in a 12 card deck, you know, that you may not be able to draw and not have the nut for it, you know, the nuts for it? And that's where sometimes the game gets like mad frustrating at times. It's because you rely on like one card and you're not able to get that card to maybe swing it into your favor, but you're already in it for 2 cubes because they happen to have the nuts when they snapped on turn 1 or whatever turn they decided to snap on. And it's easy to lose a lot of cubes. It's easy to retreat and feel discouraged in this game, in this meta, with how everything is running. So try to ultimately do your best to negate some of this stuff. And sometimes the counters for the decks are not as strong as the decks themselves. So I don't know. It is what it is. It's really difficult to kind of gauge what Blob is right now, but it's just you're gonna see an overabundance of blobs soon, and he is meta defining with his abilities, with this ability and everything like that. It's scary. So I don't blame people that are discouraged when it comes to this meta. I've typically been discouraged myself. I feel like you have to, as soon as the season starts, you have to immediately go and you have to immediately climb the ladder in order to face the amounts of bots. Sometimes you get them cheating ass bots that are able to Jubilee and Infinite immediately, which is like bullshit. And then, or they perfectly place an Electra where your sunspot is. Like they just happen to guess where your shit's gonna be like landing, and it's kind of like, damn dog, like you know every one of my fucking moves, you know my hand, and you happen to know the locations already. So it's all about trying to outplay them, and then the bots typically like they'll snap and then they'll fucking run away when they're not having the nuts or whatever. So it's a little bit of a bitch to try to go through sometimes. But you know, I guess higher end, smarter players will be able to work around that, despite them fucking bots either doing the dumbest shit in the fucking world or able to pull out every fucking thing and counter your shit. So it's annoying. So but shout outs to the people that grind like an 8-hour day to get to infinite, so they have to worry about bots and shit, like cheating ass bots and stuff like that. But we just have gone through a lot of decks that are just overpowered, and I typically like my mid, and I like to have my fun with like kind of quote unquote off meta type shit. But feeling like it's too much net deck meta stuff that we see on the ladder, and it's difficult if you don't have Nico. Like for me, I'm speaking for me, like if you don't have Nico or if you don't have a Nihilist and stuff like that to kind of combat back with some of these decks, it's annoying. I wish I had Nico, honestly, like or a Nihilist. I had a Nihilist pin, but then I unpinned it just in case if Nico pops up. So I'm just trying to wait and see what I want to be able to buy with if I do get him out of tokens. So I have to wait till like next month to do that. But yeah, man, Blob being stronger than an Infinite, if you know the Infinite lore, like that's really insane. Like stronger than Galactus, stronger than a lot of other cards that are out there. It's pretty much insane. And if you're able to ramp Blob out and then Taskmaster on the final turn, it's just even absolutely more wild. So we're at a weird spot. We're at a weird spot with Marvel Snap, and we're just gonna see more cards that get overpowered, like that are gonna be really, really strong. With Selene, Havoc, I think is gonna be a strong card to try to move around against, even though it has a bad ability, but being able to gain +4 is just gonna be really fucking wild too. We're gonna see probably an upsurgence of like Elsa Bloodstone and Havoc possibly. I still haven't really theory crafted around Havoc and stuff like that. But yeah, being able to play like ramp out Blob turn 5, or you know, wave. I've been seeing a lot more wave into blob, and then lock down a lane. You probably lock down it with, like, the smart move would try to lock down a lane with blob. So if you have priority, bam, lock it down with Professor X to guarantee that lane to win. And then people play, like, you know, Goliath and other types of things, you know, or boost up power with Miss Marvel. So we're in a really strange, like, time of Marvel, and I've always said that Marvel's always been mixed, where they have, like, where they do a good hit and they hit well, and then they balance something and then it makes it just dog shit. And sometimes I question a lot about what Second Dinner does as far as their nerfing or buffing cards like that, and then putting out these super meta defining cards that just kind of fuck the game up and make that ladder even more intense and sweaty and annoying. And I just said like probably in my head really, and I really wanted to address this, that before like High Evo, before High Evo came out, like there was a certain week, like 2 weeks, of where the meta, even it was said on the Snapchat with Alex Kocha and Cozy, they said that the meta was like the best it's ever been, and I felt that. And it was so much fun because I saw so many different varieties of decks that were being used. And I feel like the more that we go down the line, after the release of High Evo, it's just been getting more and more insane, especially when we had, you know, Loki being prevalent, and then they released Ravonna, and then she sucked ass, and then they put out Mobius to be the direct counter to Loki, but it was just like the perfect tech card because everybody was trying to wave and do all this other stuff, and that led to a lot more changes in regards to how the game was played. And we should probably see a more uptick of Mobius, to be real with you. Like, if I'm gonna be 100% real, we need to see more Mobius to be out there so we can negate the whole Galactus and all that, you know, gameplay, and turn 4 Professor X's and stuff like that. So I think people more should start teching in Mobius inside of their decks to play. But I mean, there is counters to meta. There is counters to meta and stuff like that. But you try to climb in metas. You try to climb with a counter meta, and someone happens to play something offshoot. Now you're kind of fucked because you specifically made this deck to play against these set of cards, and they may not have that. So it's all about trying to what decks to navigate and what to pilot. And then if you do change your deck, then magically they fucking have the counter for you. So it's always fun to sit and have 50-50 guesses on stuff like that. But that's where I'm at with how this game is ran. It's like the meta is in a really weird spot, and if more cards like Blob comes out, and especially with that one card that's coming out where it protects your 1 and 6 costing cards, so Blob can't be destroyed basically, or any of your big boy powers are not going to be destroyed. That's going to be really prevalent inside of Blob style type decks and big boy power type decks. So we're going to be seeing another shift, and that's going to be another meta defining card. That's going to be fucking insane. When is Gore coming out? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that. If they keep Gore's ability, like I've been seeing Gore data mine and destroy all 6 cost cards, like that'd be fucking insane. So I'm trying to see what they're gonna do with that. What else? And also, do we have to kill Professor X to deal with lockdown? That's the second part. Lockdown is absolutely annoying, and it's not fun when you have to play when there's 90 different variations of lockdown, and that Professor X can be cheated out somehow, some way to make that fucking lane unplayable. And then on top of Miss Marvel being a 415, which is absolutely insane, and that you can cheap out with Zabu is also fucking insane and mad annoying. Where it's like, it feels like it's damn near impossible to get priority where cards like Alioth, where you're just fearful of that card, where it's always in the back of your mind. And does it make it healthy for this meta? Is it healthy? I mean, we had a complete rework of Spider-Man, where we had the Spider-Man and Absorbent Man combo, where if you had Zabu, which at the time it was able to make your shit, you know, instead of making your 4 cost 3, it made your 4 cost 2. And then on turn 5, you played Spider-Man and Zordman combo to lock down 2 lanes where you had to play in one specific lane, or you can just, you know, basically lock it out. Or the only way to beat that was to have Dr. Doom, you know what I'm saying, to beat that, to add more power to your lane. So basically we have Miss Marvel as a that can be discounted Dr. Doom on turn 3 or 4, essentially. So we're at a really weird spot in regards to this meta. And I seen Jeff Hoogland talk about Professor X and stuff like that, and I see him get upset. I typically watch a lot of other, you know, creators and stuff like that try to play. You know, I also like Romek. He's a funny dude, and but that man had to deal with what we were dealing with in the Infinite Ladders. We had to deal with so many Lokis. We had to deal with he's dealing with Lockdown, which damn near every one of his games were against Lockdown decks. And then I watched Molt, and that bro like rage quit because he played, I think he was doing the math that he played like 40 matches and over half of them were some sort of variation of Lockdown, which was a Thanos Lockdown because of Blob, or Lockdown like Medusa mid and then storm a location and then lock down another location. You know, the W's Guardian style of deck that's been really prevalent on ladder. And it I don't know if it's the developers' way to just make games just not fun, and also dealing with locations that like Morag and shit like that can block you out. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been a person that's also hated the locations in this game. I hate majority of the locations, and the amount of frequent repeat locations that I happen to get, that I probably need to start recording more games just to be like, dude, how the fuck did I get this like 3 times in a row? Like, I played Conquest and I had one 3 times in a fucking row, and it's just like, damn dog, like we just played this location, and then I got another repeat location, and then I got it again, and it's like we had the Abby's place like 3 times, and I was just like, and I was playing against a destroyed deck that every fucking time had X23 Carnage, like all the destroyed shit over and over and over and over again perfectly every fucking time, and I was just sitting there with dog shit in my hands every fucking game that I was playing. So I was getting super fucking annoyed. And that's one of the things that happens with this card game. Yeah, you're gonna get bad draws, but dog, I've been getting way more bad draws than just shit location luck, and I have to retreat in order to like save cubes. But also at the same time, if you have numerous games where you have to retreat, it fucking is discouraging. So if you happen to lip in for 2 cubes and you think you had the nuts and they had the nuts the whole time, yeah, it fucking sucks, man, that you lose 2 when you retreated over 1 cube that you retreated. And then if you play out a full game and you lose 2, then you already lost 5 cubes right there. And sometimes when you have back-to-back bad games, it just makes it to where it sucks, where like you can't play anything. Like sometimes the locations don't come into your favor, like don't favor you. You can flip a coin 10 times and then call it heads every time, and then it happens to be fucking tails every single time, and that is where it gets discouraging and sucks. And then you get you feel like you're not playing like you're not good enough to play the game because you guessed wrong, and they just happen to guess right and have the nuts every single time that you play against the fucking opponent. So that's where I'm at, where I'm discouraged when it comes to the meta in this game, and I've voiced my frustration because I want this game to succeed. I love this game, but I also hate the directions that it chooses to go, and the decks that I have to play and pilot that I don't like playing because I want to be creative. And I said that in my meta versus off meta video. I just want to be creative and think of cool shit rather than to constantly having to play against a certain deck. You know what I'm saying? And that I have to like play against these decks. I'd rather be competitive and creative. I want to be competitive, but also want to be creative and theory craft because I love the game and I like the concept. But I also would like to have new type of archetypes rather than beefing up toxic bullshit that we got to deal with. And the way they nerf some of the cards and just makes it kind of where I just, like I said, I've stated before, question the directions of what Second Dinner is trying to do. But that's my thoughts, man. I really wanted to get this off of my chest. I felt like I needed to sit down and talk and say some of the shit that's on my mind, because this game has also been fucking with me mentally, and it's just playing against the same decks. Just how does it make it fun? How is this like a thing? At least in Tekken, I get a variety of characters that I play against, and then I have my character that I know to use, and I know the weaknesses of other characters that are in the game, so I try to play on their weaknesses and see what my strengths are to compare to the weaknesses and stuff like that. I guess you can do that in card games as well, but also at the same time, it's a mixture of like decks that are just being way too strong and like mad annoying. So I don't know, man. That's why I've been playing Tekken. I've made those kind of bad posts and stuff like that, but it's also been affected, like fucking with me mentally and everything like that. I don't know how I would change the game. I think I said before that we need a game mode. We need an actual super casual ass fucking game mode, and then we need besides Proving Grounds, because in the Proving Grounds I'm still seeing Lokis and I'm still seeing all these other types of decks for people to win silver fucking tickets, and decks that I'm already playing against in ladder that I have to play against in fucking Proving Ground and also in Conquest, so it makes it just not fun. And a draft mode, because I'm really fucking tired of a lot of the meta, and would like to have a draft mode where we don't have to fucking deal with that and see how smart it is for you to be able to draft. I think a draft mode is important. We need it. We really need it, and that's like my number one thing for the shit. You don't need albums that are making it fucking impossible to collect some of the shit, and this shit being locked behind pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have hip fucking variants, and then I just don't like this. Like, come on, man. Like, it's just insane. I just want to be able to like emote and shit. I think the emote should have been fucking free. But that's just one of my things that I've been worried about. But I know that people are not going to be feeling this video. It is what it is. I just want to be able to speak my mind. I know someone out there is like really anti this meta shit, and they get bored and tired of having to play counter meta. It's either meta or counter meta. It's not your off meta fun brand decks that you have to play with. It gets like super annoying. So that's where I'm at with the state of the game. That's my mind. You may feel it, you may not. If you made it this far, check out some of my other videos and stuff like that. I'll try to upload more and get out of this like mental funk that I'm in, but it's kind of hard to sit back and try to make content within this game, and everybody's playing the same decks that they've seen you know, Regis or Lambie or KM Best kind of make, and it's just like, yeah, or Dara, you know, those guys like make, and then you just see it all over the place. So it just kind of gets boring like really, really fast. So I don't know if you feel that way. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. We'll see how this goes on in the future, and we'll see how this OTA change. If this OTA change doesn't address some issues and knock down some of the like insane cards that we're seeing, then this game could be done. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot more new players. I know they're gonna aim for new players to come out, because some of the older players like me that's been playing since like global launch and put in a lot of money are not feeling their money's worth when it comes to this game. But that's what it is. Check out some of the videos that I have. If not, it's cool. Subscribe, like, you know, comment. Let me know how you guys feel about where your mind is at within this with the game and with the meta, and if you feel how you feel like how Jacob when he asked the question. So y'all take care. Drink water. Yeah. Peace.